Hello and welcome to another episode of the Never a Straight Answer podcast, the podcast that aims to cover a wide range of topics from conspiracy theories to popular culture and news. I'm your host Gaz, and joining me in the studio, well, he's back from the red lights and the cafes of Amsterdam. No idea how we got him back through customs. He's my co-host, Mr. Taylor.
Yeah, good evening, ladies and gents. Welcome, everybody.
Good evening indeed, and thank you, and welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us for another episode. It's been a while.
It has.
So whether you're a new visitor or a repeat offender, welcome along. Yay!
Keep that repeating.
Well, we've got an interesting show for you tonight.
We have.
Tonight's episode, we're going to be talking about the Welsh Triangle, a region of Pembrokeshire, Wales, known for the high concentration of UFO sightings and unexplained phenomenon.
Yes.
Unlike most famous kind of like, the Bermuda Triangle, the Welsh Triangle is basically the focal of the coastal of Broadhaven. The triangular area gained some notability back in the 70s with numerous UFO sightings and quite a few sightings of silver-suited entities.
Yes.
We'll be going into it a bit later on in the show.
We will indeed, eh?
But firstly, we've got loads of stuff going on. That's coming up later on in the show. But also we've got this week's world events and news.
Oh, yeah.
Plus much more.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy
loads
stuff.
of stuff going on this week.
It is.
So, right, well, firstly, there's no point me asking you what we've been up to this last couple of weeks, Taylor, because we've both been away, haven't we? We've both been over to Amsterdam.
Yeah, we had a nice little holiday.
Holiday?
Chilled. Yeah.
I needed a holiday coming back off it, to be honest, bro.
Yeah.
I was knackered. Didn't you sleep for 2 days?
Yeah. I come back a little bit ill.
Was you feeling ill?
Yeah.
Well, I've not seen you since we got back, because literally we got off the plane, you dropped me home, and then you shot off. I've not seen you since. So, well, what have you been up to this week apart from recovering?
In bed, recovering mostly.
Serious.
But then I did a little bit of work over the beginning of the weekend. And yeah,
Fair enough.
Getting back into the groove.
Gotta say, what did you think of your first kind of like holiday away? Because this was your first kind of like, as a grown-up, with the boys.
Yeah.
I mean, what's your experiences? I kept going, Taylor, slow down, you're kind of mooching off. You feel like you got the gist of the city quite quick.
Yeah, no.
I felt like you were kind of on it.
Bikes are a nightmare.
I'm telling you. I told him day one, right,
forget about the cars, it's all about
don't worry
bikes.
about cars, Don't, mate, I'd rather jump in front of a car than a bunch of bikes in Amsterdam, I tell you that much.
True, and they don't stop.
Oh, they don't stop. So,
Little bells going ding, ding,
but
ding, ding,
that's
get out of the way.
literally, I think it's your first day, you kind of acclimatise to it, and then you kind of sorted, aren't you? Because I felt like most of us got the gist of it quite
kind of
quickly.
weird as well, because they're on the wrong side of the road as well. You know what I mean? They're on the wrong side. So
are we on the wrong side? It seems like there's a lot of
we're-
countries that drive on the left.
We're right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is it us, or is it just the typical British way of doing things? We do things our own way here in Britain.
It's
Blah blah.
Yeah.
I think that could be the case, actually.
I-
There you go.
Wow, did you find it? That's your second time you were there, isn't it?
Second time was there. Felt a bit more kind of like at ease with the town. I knew where things were, and kind of like I was kind of like, let's go here because I remember it from the last time. Or there was places we passed, and I was like, I wouldn't mind going in there the next time.
Yes.
I love the Strat Museum, so like to go there again and see all the updates, and I think about 40 to 50% of the stuff there had changed. So it was quite nice to see all that.
Yeah, it's a nice little place, and it was nice as well. You could put a marker down.
Oh yeah, well that's that we did tag the place up.
We did.
So basically, if you go to the Strat, you might see the neverastraightanswer.co.uk website
on the wall,
literally on the entrance, wasn't it? So we had to tag up the place, didn't we, and make our presence known, if you like. So that's
a little bit of a rebel.
Always a rebel. Yeah. So anyway, seriously, I've not got a little question for you this week, but we're going to be returning with we had a feature a while ago. Where we posed riddles to one another. Yeah. So we're going to be bringing that back next week. Which is a nice little riddle me this, riddle me that. I smashed you last time, though, I seem to remember. I remember in terms of my riddles, I was winning, and I think you did pull it back towards the end. Yeah, because I've been listening to some old episodes, and this is why I was like, oh shit, I forgot about this feature even existed. So I do believe that I won that. Yeah. So can you regain, or may even kind of regain a bit of self-respect?
I'm taking the title back. You put the title on the line. I'm going to take it back.
We shall see. That's coming up next week.
It is.
But yeah, this week we're going to be talking about the Welsh triangle. So yeah, that's decent. It is a mysterious one.
But there's quite a bit of controversy in it.
There's some total controversy into it now. So like basically. The Welsh triangles, and we'll go into it in a minute, because firstly, I have to say that this week's episode is brought to you, in part, by Audible.
Yes, Audible. Well, you love to listen to them books.
Why not get yourself a free trial of Audible? You can go over to audible.com.co.uk, wherever you get your Audibles from, in the world.
Yes.
And you can claim a free trial, 30 days free trial, in fact.
Why not?
No commitment. Basically, well, there is a commitment if you decide to go ahead with it, but you don't have to, and you can basically choose to subscribe or cancel after the 30 days. Even if you cancel, you get to keep your book. So you get one free book of your choice, yours to keep, even if you cancel. Prime customers, so if you're already a Prime customer, you'll receive 2 audiobooks in your trial.
Double bonus.
Double bonus, exactly. So with the ability to choose from the world's largest selection of audiobooks, including bestsellers, new releases, sci-fis, romances, mysteries, classics, and more.
New and old.
Yeah, totally, So plenty of stuff that we cover. Loads of reference books and stuff as well. So, it's not all fictional and storytelling. But if you are into storytelling, there's so many cool, narrators, from Patrick Stewart to Stephen Fry. You've got so many to choose from. After the 30 days, you'll receive one book every month for just the low cost of $7.99. It renews automatically and easily cancelled if you don't want to carry on with it. And you can download and listen to the best audiobooks around.
And it's a pretty good price as well.
And it's a good way of, maximising your time and all that. So, nice pitch over. We'll crack on.
We will.
With the Welsh triangle. Well, so interesting case, right? And in terms of UK UFO incidents, a lot of people kind of go to the Rendition Forest incident, or there's some stuff that happened in Suffolk, where there was a lot of sightings happening over the Suffolk airspaces.
Also be a Roswell incident in the north of Wales as well.
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? Well, there's seriously quite a lot of activity over Wales, and I don't know if it's just because it's such a beautiful country that these entities want to visit.
Oh, the valleys.
Oh, the valleys, my dear. So, they've got, but this particular case drew a lot of attention back in 1977, because a group of school children ended up kind of witnessing something. But nestled in the picturesque landscape of Wales is a village of Broadhaven, and Broadhaven is known as now the Welsh Triangle, There's been so much mysterious phenomenon happening over there, that now it's got this notoriety of being a really big UFO hotspot for flying objects, UFOs, and encounters with basically with the assumed aliens in silver suits.
Silver suits come up quite a lot.
So tonight we're going to delve into it and try and see what we can kind of uncover. We've got obviously the main incidents, as well as eyewitness testimonies that explore the theories and what happened over there. The Welsh Triangle, like I say, it retains to or pertains to an area of Pembrokeshire in Wales, which is renowned for UFO sightings, and this is why they call it the Wales Triangle, because basically it goes from Broadhaven to Milford Haven, and then inland to Hertford. Is it Hertford West? Hertford West, which is more inland, right? Which creates this kind of triangle. Although the Bermuda Triangle, is renowned for things disappearing, the Wales Triangle is kind of known for things appearing
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's more kind of a lot more sightings that happen during this triangle, right? So in terms of eyewitnesses, the main incident that kind of sparked all this, media coverage off.
Or kind of forced it in one way.
Well, it forced it.
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing, right? Because in ufology, there's a term called the flap. Yeah. And the flap kind of is sort of when the peak of hysteria or the interest in the idea of UFOs and aliens arises. So, when a flap happens, it's almost like when we were talking about the satanic panic. Yeah. And more and more people get on board with it. So it becomes more like, appealing and more mainstream. Yeah. So this is kind of the height of it. The media want to know, the kind of the police are involved and the MOD and all these things, and it becomes like a bit of a flap, right? In terms of the flap, this is what happened, right? You've got a group of school children, right, in Haven, in Broadhaven. They've basically, it's 1977, and the village primary school have just broke for lunch, right? Yeah. So it's the lunch break. The group of children have gone out playing on the backfields behind the school when all of a sudden the majority of the playground come running into the school, saying that they've just witnessed something on the fields behind their school field, right? So what did they see? They've been asked, they couldn't explain it, right? So bear in mind, this is 1977. There are a bunch of school children, the concept of UFOs or unidentified flying objects or even alien spacemen might be kind of something that they kind of like they might have an interest in. Sci-fi was a thing.
Well, they are the age between, was it 9 and 11?
Obviously, 9 and 11, they've got wicked imaginations, right? But literally the whole playground's come running in telling teacher that they've seen something land in the backfield, and an entity has emerged from this object and presented itself to him, but basically just emerged out of this craft and showed itself. When the teacher was like, what the heck, can you tell me more, can you give me more information? These kids have then turned around and said well, we can draw you pictures and stuff. So they've ended up all individually drawing pretty much the same thing. A cylindrical UFO, and a silver being, in a silver jumpsuit, basically, right? So the teacher's kind of like, wow, this is weird, So over the next couple of days, I think this happened on the Friday, and they've gone home for the weekend, and when he's come back in on the Monday, the kids are like interested because obviously nothing got done that day. So the kids have just been kind of like really excited and pumped, but they've seen something that they can't explain, and they kind of want answers.
That's what school's there for.
Exactly, and asking questions. Exactly. So the teacher's gone, well, I want to get a bit more information. So we set them apart, got them into sort of like an exam situation where they've said, right, tell me what you saw. And again, they've come out with virtually the same sort of thing. So they've ended up kind of turning around and saying that, well, I think we need to get the authorities involved because we don't know what it is. One of the teachers, in fact, had an idea that she might have thought, actually, we've got a couple of plants around here. We've got a waste management plant. We've got a couple of factories. I'm going to go down to the sewage plant and have a word with them and see if they're the closest to us. Perhaps they've had a tanker. This cylindrical object's a tanker. So she's gone down to the plant and just started asking questions, and they were like, no, not at all, not a chance. That we've had a tanker down in that field. Firstly, there's no access. And there's no way that we can get a tanker in there, And why we'd be down in the field doing anything anyway, well, I don't understand. So we said, definitely not.
And the weather was terrible as well. There was a lot of rain, and if you'd get a vehicle through, you couldn't get a vehicle through.
No, I think the terrain was pretty much hills and lumps.
So,
do you know when it's kind of like moorland? Like, that's kind of what it looked like. So basically, this theory's kind of gone out of the window. So stumped, the teachers and the students, they can't work it out. So authorities are starting to get called, right? With the authorities, the media get involved.
Oh,
right?
of course, Nosy Parker's bringing
So
it.
the media have started to come down and check it out, and they want to know what's going on as much as kind of like the teachers and that. So they basically took a bunch of the students down to where the incident happened, mainly looking. I think the reporters were trying to find any evidence of anything actually landing. Any scorch marks, any footprints, any indentations or anything like that in the ground. They couldn't really find anything apart from a telegraph pole had been bent at a 45-degree angle. Turned.
Odd.
All the rest of them are in line, but where they've said that there was this ship had took off and landed, it had kind of disturbed this telegraph pole, right? So in terms of evidence, I'm not sure. Like, it's kind of something, but I wouldn't say it's like a nail in the coffin, would you?
No, but I'd question now if that was taken down and taken away and destroyed,
Maybe.
or kept in the military compound. Well, they put a new one up, and how long would it take it as well? Was it done straight away, or was it, a couple of weeks?
Now, but this is it, right? Because they said also that the encounter, like I say, there was a being in a silver suit, and they kind of described him pretty well. Now, I kind of found this other witness testimony, which goes back to 1970, right?
Yeah.
So these kids are, like you say, 7 to 12 years old.
Yeah.
So 1970, 7 years prior to this. A woman in New Haven, a hotel owner, in fact, she's basically, I think it was the Haven Fort Hotel in Broadhaven, during the 1970s, so probably all the way up to, it was during the 1970s, so not a specific year. But I'd say if it was 1970, there's 7-year gap between these kids' incident and hers. But she claimed that she had an encounter where they were all sat down watching the television, and she heard a noise. She looked out the window and witnessed a humanoid figure dressed entirely in silver. So, I mean, the kids have then described in the same area a similar
subject,
thing. That they've seen. There's something to this. Now, this isn't the end of it, because although that's kind of like the crux of the catalyst that starts off, like I say, this Rosa Glenville, she's had an encounter years before the flap occurred. When the media circus started up. So now there's a media circus starting up, and everybody wants the piece of the school kids. They want to interview them. They're sending reporters from as far as Australia, the US, the BBC want a bit. Everyone's trying to interview these kids.
As they do, like vultures.
The story and also the photographs, or not the photograph, the drawings that the children had produced have ended up in the newspapers, printed in the newspapers and stuff. So now this has become national news. Right? So you'd think that might be it. It's an isolated incident, a one-off. It's never going to happen again. But over the course of the next few years, the amount of UFO sightings that started to occur on the coast of New Haven and Milford Haven, which is slightly down the coast, rose dramatically, right? To a point where
77.
most residents in the area, now I think Millhaven has 600 residents, so it's quite a small little town, right? And Millhaven also has an airstrip close by. There's an eyewitness testimony where the woman who lived in Millhaven, she was basically saying she was so used to seeing all these lights and craft taking off from the runway. She'd lived there for years and she'd kind of used to it. So when she saw a craft that she couldn't explain, it
must have meant something, because she was already she already knows.
Well, this is the thing.
Normal craft flying machines that are flying around.
Well, I believe you've got a couple of the witness testimonies, but obviously the Welsh Triangle, it's an interesting one. Obviously, throughout the years, there were quite a lot of different sightings from, witnesses have described various shapes and sizes of craft hovering over the fields, hills, and nearby coastline. These objects were obviously, coming from somewhere. But they were, again, being described as having capabilities unlike anything we had on Earth. So using zigzag patterns and hovering silently as well. So, you know, there's quite a lot of level-headed people making kind of claims now, saying, shit, we've seen something here.
It's mostly, again, it's an area where when the cars were basically stopping, and like, you know, people would have problems with all their electrics and stuff like that. That kind of stuff were happening around there. And
yeah. Because we've talked about that before on the show, where you know, sometimes when there's been encounters of UFOs and, you know, abductions and stuff like that, it knocks power out.
Yeah,
and I think you've said as well that could explain the reason why, you know, there's not very good footage of UFOs, because they go, there's a man with a camera, quick, turn on the camera beam thing.
Yeah, it seems they seem to have, even though we're starting to get decent and more, you know, better pictures. There's one apparently that's come out not that long ago where it's a really, really good picture. But to me there is something on, like, they know when you're looking at them and trying to take the picture.
Maybe,
you know what I mean?
maybe
There is something there which it goes into a lot more detail if you explain.
Okay,
my head on
right. So you've got some more eyewitness testimonies, yeah?
Yes, I have. At the primary school, two of the dinner ladies at the time come outside and fought
for a quick ciggy.
Yeah,
came out for a quick
ciggy.
ciggy. Oh shit! Semolina's on. Let's go for a quick cig.
Yeah. Put that in the microwave.
I don't think we had microwaves back in 1977, but we'll let you off.
Oh, I think we did, didn't we?
Oh, no,
yeah, because the 50s.
So.
I think microwaves come in the 50s.
Maybe no, they didn't.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
You crack on. I'm going to Google that while you're.
Yeah, you Google that while I explain. Yeah, so apparently these dinner ladies decided to come forward. They didn't realise at the time that there was something mysterious going on. They actually thought it was a wagon over there because they did see someone or something go back into the vehicle and then sort of drive off. It's not a case of flying off, it's a case of driving off. And obviously they must have finished the fag and dipped it out.
All right, I'll let you off. UK sales of the first domestic model were sold in 1974. Not the 50s, though. Where are you going with the 50s, 1974?
74?
The first prototype of the microwave cooker, 1947, was made in the US in 1955.
Okay.
But wasn't available in the UK till 1974.
Okay, then.
So, yeah, they might have had a microwave.
Yeah, but I weren't talking on UK.
But imagine how much that must have been a private school if they could afford a microwave back in 1974.
Yeah.
Go for it
from
anyway.
The future.
Maybe.
Yeah. We also had an incident on February the 10th where two 12-year-old boys had seen an object 130 yards from him, and even one of the lads decided, I'm going to throw a stone at it and see what happens.
Poke a stick at it, why not?
Yeah.
That's what kids do. That's what young boys do, yeah. It's like, you see a frog, poke it with a stick.
Yeah.
You see something you don't recognise, throw a stone at it.
Yeah.
See what it does. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's the only way. I'm not touching it.
No.
It's like an extension of your arm, isn't it, as a child?
Yeah.
Poking something with a stick.
But I found that a lot of kids had noticed these as well, because there was quite a few around the local schools, different schools. I mean, there was one instant, I think it was February 16th, where a kid remembers going to school and seeing a UFO hovering above the school.
Right, okay.
And then you've got a gentleman who woke up in the middle of the night with orange lights spraying through his window. There was so many, even cattle disappeared.
Yeah, I've seen some cattle stuff, but I kind of don't like going into that because it's kind of grim. I like cows. Do you know what I mean?
Well, these
I don't want to think
these
of cows being kind of messed with by aliens. Do you know what I mean? I know everyone likes a burger.
Well, it's an indication. It's an indication to stuff that's been going on.
Well, this is the thing, right? Yeah, there is quite a lot of witness testimony, and like I say, it went on for quite a while.
Yes.
But there was a lot of speculation to where these crafts were coming from. Yeah. people were definitely seeing things, but they wanted to know exactly where they were coming from. One of the speculations that kind of cropped up was regarding a US base in the area. Speculation surrounding the United States military base in Wales, in the middle of the Welsh Triangle, added additional layer to the story of intrigue and mystery. Some enthusiasts suggest that the base was actually the cause of these crafts, and the UFOs were experiments being made by the US military, and obviously when they approached them about anybody approached the base, they just say it's classified.
Yeah. And don't forget, a lot of, especially US bases, were being visited by UFOs, especially those that had nuclear weapons.
Well, the thing is as well, right? But this is a one thing, right? So, and I'll get into this because it turned out that the base itself, when it closed down in 1994, they discovered that it was actually a listening post for Russian submarines, right?
Yeah, but that's what they
So
say.
there was computer banks and stuff like that. But what I'm about to say is radar, right? If we're kind of transmitting radar and broadcasting radar and receiving radar, then would that not be kind of a draw to the area? Yeah. And if we've got or if the US had radar in this facility and there's a high concentration of UFOs in the area, surely the military over at that base would have captured some sort of readings at some point. Yeah. They're tracking subs, but at the end of the day, a signal comes in. They're not going to go, oh, let's just ignore that. But they're going to look into it.
It's still in its infancy because there was, I think it was.
I would anyway. I think it
was around about 57. There was a big problem where the US contacted Britain because there was a massive swarm. They've seen a massive swarm or something, but they've never been able to answer the question. But don't forget, it's in its early stages, and getting into its middle stages. I mean, it's used today, and it's still not at its
what
peak.
The radar.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, totally, and they can lose track of things on radar, but the thing is, they're a stationary base, so they're on a coastline, and they've got a lot of traffic coming in that they're not really kind of used to, and why would they not notice that? That's what I'm saying. So what I'm thinking is, had that base kind of had covered up or found information, and it's classified, they're not exactly going to tell us, but maybe if the Freedom of Information Act might be able to uncover that information now, is what I'm saying.
Possibly.
The thing about this case is really interesting. It is. I was watching a documentary, and Nick Pope, who was who ran the desk for UFO research at the MOD,
like the X-Files, man.
He was basically the UK X-Files. Mulder. And he's turned around and said, reading the files on this from the MOD standpoint, it's. They actually took interest in this case because whereas the MOD wouldn't really do the field work if they didn't really believe there was something going on. So the fact that they did go out there and try and kind of get an idea of what was happening
local
in the area.
Yeah,
exactly. So they were contacting everybody involved in the case, basically. And they wanted to know exactly what was going on because... And I think if the MOD is getting involved, then there must be something to it, because why would they just dismiss it as something kind of random?
And if they knew about it.
But then again, this is what I'm saying, right? So if a US base is on English soil, right, they've got an obligation to the MOD to tell them if they discover anything anomalous, right? So if they start discovering anomalous stuff on the radar in the air around the Welsh Triangle, then they would definitely tell the MOD and the British government about it, right? It's at that point where I think that the government went, actually, we should have a look into this, because I think that with the eyewitness accounts and the kids' testimonies and everything does stack up as legitimate sort of proof, because there was definitely something going on. Now, a lot of the people who've had kind of experiences, like I said, were very level-headed people, and I wouldn't say were like liars or glory hunters or any of that. I'd think that they were kind of like just kind of trustworthy honest, normal people.
Yeah.
So for this many people to come up and say, we've seen something, again, it's an interesting one. The Welsh Triangle is still kind of like a hotspot for you and has interest in the ufology world.
There's still things that go on every now and again.
But obviously the Welsh Triangle was centred around Broadhaven, Broadhaven continues to, like I say, captivate the world with its mysterious UFO sightings and encounters, and silver beings. There was a hoax, wasn't there, about the silver beings?
Yeah, there was actually a guy, a businessman, Mr. Edwards, who on one of these evenings he went to a dinner party and it was a dress-up do. So he thought he'd dress up as like a spaceman. So he's had the dinner after, and then later on, his colleagues thought it'd be funny if they go down to the local village and, like, you know, have him walk around and see what people would say. So they spooked a couple of people and that, and they went up to one of the hotels around the area, started walking up the road with the lights of the beam of the car behind, so it looks like a spaceman.
Do you know, like you said, this hotel, like the testimony from Rita Glenville, she owned the hotel. So do you think this was her getting spooked by... Because she still maintains that it was a real alien. She said it had grey face with a slit for a mouth. The police actually came down and they had to remove the whole family.
That's right.
And relocate them because she didn't feel safe in the home.
Yeah.
So is this the same woman?
I possibly, but the guy who was doing the trick, Mr. Edwards, one of his colleagues in the car turned around and said, "There's someone at the window." So he looked towards the window and he went, I'm turning back.
And jumped into a Nissan Micra and burnt off through the village.
Well,
that's a bit of an indicator that he's a local lad.
Well, he reckons he saw a woman there with a gun. So if it is her, then she had nothing to worry about.
Well, there was nothing about that in the testimony. She said that she was watching the TV with the kids.
It might be a different. It sounds like a little different one.
Maybe it is. I was wondering how many hotels are in. Oh, it's Wales, isn't it? There's probably quite a few.
But he only did it for like 10 minutes. So with all the incidents over the 12 months, it can't be really the same.
Well, I think it's been going on over longer than 12 months. I think the notoriety of the area became because there was so many happening at once. In a short space of time. But I think it still carries on today. I'm not 100% sure. If you live in New Haven, give us a shout and let us know. Now, all these ufologists and stuff got really deep into the story and wanted to know about it, wanted to get involved. But wasn't there a ufologist who kind of had who was kind of going around saying, "Oh wait, I've been saying this for years"?
Well, he went to the same papers that actually first reported it, which was the Western Telegraph, and a guy called Randall Johnson Pegg, the local British UFO Research Association investigator, had an interview on the 13th of January, and don't forget the incident started on the 4th of February, and he predicted there was going to be a sporadic of incidents that were going to be coming up. So when
was it him who did it? Do you reckon maybe he hoaxed it all?
Well, he was brought in when the papers come into the school about this report. He actually got brought in because
Hugh Turnbull was the first reporter to kind of break the story, and he worked for the Welsh Telegraph or the Welsh Post or something like that.
That's right.
But he was kind of like really interested in the case, and I think he was kind of thinking, should I run it or should I not? But then this ufologist I think he kind of added to it, I think. By saying, because like I've predicted all this.
He talked to him like a month beforehand, and then all of a sudden this action happens. So then, the newspaper guy goes down. Oh, right. Well, you know what? So I've just done an interview with someone like a couple of weeks ago, and he says that this is going to be happening. And thought, well, I'll bring you down. Let's have an investigation.
Because that night there was an actual kind of the night before the actual main event in 1977. Apparently, it was a high concentration of shooting stars that night. as well.
Yeah.
Potentially, could these be the craft centre in the atmosphere coming in, doing a swoop around, or a bit of a, a pass by, glide by, or whatever?
It kind of makes me think of what's happening around now with all these blue or green asteroids that are landing at the minute, and in the back garden, there's a couple of monsters out there or whatever. It just reminds me that there's more and more of that happening.
It's happening every day, guys. Maybe you'll be visited by an alien. You never know. It could happen.
Not always good and bad ones, you know what I mean?
Well, are we about to wrap this up? Have you got any more to add to the proceedings? One of the interesting ones that I found out was the woman who lives in Milfordshire.
Oh yeah.
Haven or Milford Haven.
Yeah.
She said the craft she saw kind of had like a glass orb around it, and it was sort of something she'd never seen before or could explain. And this is the thing. There's been quite a lot of different shapes of crafts. It's not just been cylindrical objects, and I think a lot of people can kind of say, oh yeah, it's dead easy to kind of mistaken something for a cylindrical object because there's a lot of anomalies that happen that kind of look like that if you know what you're looking for. Whereas when you see kind of an arrow-shaped object or a defined UFO, it's a bit more kind of like, no, it definitely was a UFO.
Oh yeah. But apparently there was a cigar-shaped one pulling another one.
Towing it.
Yeah, towing the other one. But they were like struggling together.
I'm sure that one of them's just broke down or been shot down.
Yeah, probably.
This is the thing, it's like, if aliens did kind of land, it'd just be a load of like, yeehaw, shooting them like in Independence Day.
Just spread something in our atmosphere and fuck off for a while and then come back.
Probably what they're trying to do, innit?
Yeah. Warm us up.
Well, but this is it. I feel like I never knew like England had monsoon season. It's happening though, innit? We're having monsoon season at the minute.
Bad at the minute.
Lightning storms and stuff.
Everyone else, I suppose.
Well, the Welsh Triangle is obviously really interesting and sparks a lot of interest in the in the UK UFO scene, and obviously gives you a glimpse into the extraordinary and unexplained. But it is a kind of crazy phenomenon. We obviously tried to give you a glimpse into what's gone on there. So that's, I think that's about it. Whether you believe what happened in Newton Haven or
have a look yourself.
Yeah, have a look yourself. It is a captivating incident, and obviously, we'd like to know what you think.
Yeah.
And see if you live there.
Yeah,
let us know if you've seen anything, because we'd be really interested. Maybe we should go down. It's not that far.
I was thinking if you own a hotel down there, free bread and board.
Oh, we'll do some investigation. We'll interview you. Yeah, it'll be nice. We'll get some,
investigate a few people
sit by the seaside in Wales.
Yeah,
that'd be lovely.
Oh yes.
Oh, aye, yeah.
Nice.
Well, there you go. Well, it surely is an interesting topic. I think that, if you do believe it, then I think, there is a lot to unpack with it. I'd love to know what the listeners think about the subject anyway. But we've got to move on.
We have.
Because I think we've got the news coming up.
We have.
Right about now. It's the news! Oh my days, and have we got the newsiest news around for yousies? I've looked all over the internet. It took me a whole random 15 minutes, and I found... No, actually, I've had a couple of stories in mind for a while, because my first story, kicking straight off.
Yeah.
We covered this a while ago, yeah.
We've got some update then.
Yeah, it's an update story. Yeah, so there was in Canada. Yeah, so the drugs laws in Canada are a little unclear, in some ways. But a man, Jerry Martin, 51, opened a store in Vancouver. That wasn't just cannabis. He was selling everything. Yeah. So whatever narcotics you wanted, they were there for you. Yeah, right. As long as they were kind of well-produced drugs or whatever.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not ended well. The man who opened the store selling heroin and cocaine has now died of an overdose.
Oh, shit. shame.
What do you don't get high on your own supply.
No,
that's the point.
First rule.
So
Yeah,
the guy's probably had himself a bit of a lock-in.
Well, yeah.
And got a bit carried away. But yeah, Jerry Martin's deceased now, at age 51. When he was basically wanting to give people access to clean drugs.
And then just fucked up a little bit.
Well, the requirements were adults only, age 18, ID required.
Yeah.
There was a limit of 2.5 grams per drug.
Okay.
Yeah, per purchase, per person. Right?
Okay.
So there was no exceptions to that.
Yeah.
Obviously, he was the exception to the rule.
Obviously, unless he got a shipment of bad shit.
Maybe, I don't know. He died in Vancouver on the last Friday, a few days after being hospitalised due to suspected fatal overdose, according to his partner. Although Martin survived the first overdose, the initial overdose, he remained unresponsive in hospital, and then obviously they took him off life support. So,
kind of ironic, isn't it?
Obviously, there's a lesson for you.
Yeah.
Even the clean, trying to do it the clean way when it comes to this type of medicine. I wouldn't call it medicine, is it? Poison. Yeah. Fucking poison.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. Bit of an update on that one.
Sweet.
I do have another story before, if you will allow me.
I will allow you.
Chat bots. I think they're kind of like they're one of those, aren't they? It's like you can kind of see the dangers in terms of like writing.
Say that the criminals, like
the writing aspect of it. Like he's going to take away creativity from writers and stuff like that. I know that there's a couple of authors already suing ChatGPT for using their novels to train it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So is that not kind of using their kind of like intellectual properties or their writing style or what? I don't know what the ins and outs of that is. But it does have its uses, and this is a story about one particular really good use of it, to be fair. A California man, he's created an AI chatbot to waste the time of telemarketers.
Oh,
mate, yeah. I'm assuming this is going to work for those scammers as well.
Yeah, I hope it's free.
Oh, mate, yeah, everyone should be able to install that.
Yeah, definitely.
Just get like a scam bot on your. No, but that sounds pretty kind of dodgy in itself, doesn't it? Having a scam bot, but like a scam or a telemarketer AI that just basically answers them but wastes their time.
Yeah.
Not only does that do two things, it winds them up.
Yeah, good.
But also kind of waste their time so they're not able to scam really vulnerable people.
I find that they soon move on to another method of trying to get
of course they will, but I mean there's been so many kind of like you need to put these barriers in front of them, so even if they do find another way down the line, you're slowing them down for a bit, because they're at the level of this scam now, these scams and telemarketing scams where they've got call centres. Yeah. They're slick. They're a sleek operation. Yeah. And, it's like, if we can close that down, then, obviously, or waste their time enough that they're not scamming real people, then that's a win, isn't it? Yeah. So I like that. California man. I'm going to find out your name. What's your name, dude? Roger Anderson.
Roger Anderson.
Mr. Anderson.
He said dude.
His subscription service is called Jolly Roger. And it's had thousands of customers. Okay. It's around about £25 a year to use the product, apparently.
Well, yeah, it depends how good it is, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
if
of course.
Professionally done, then sweet. But if it's one of them where it's like, I can tell that's a fucking robot talking there, so why not bother?
How are you?
Put the phone down in 5 seconds.
Are you in India?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That type of thing.
I'm in Newcastle.
No, my name is James Smith.
Yeah.
Anyway, have you got any stories you want to talk about?
Oh yeah, I got a big drop. I'd say it's a big drop, massive drop actually, and I think it's a massive.
He's dropped a deuce.
This unjustified.
Go on.
Well, that
you sound well like hurt.
Norman, that president that they've got in America, Biden.
Oh, go on.
So he's put indefinitely. No more JFK records will be allowed out.
Well, maybe because that's everything that they're allowed to release.
No, they've still got thousands left, but he's basically put the kibosh on and gone, right, there's the
Kibosh.
gate. Yeah, that's it, no more.
Maybe this is it though, because they've got to the point now where if they release any more, it gives the game away. They're at a point where they can't. They've worked out what they can what's sensitive and what's not sensitive, and then said, here you go, that's all you can have. And now everything that's left is basically evidence to say that they did something. Yeah, exactly. So that's why that is.
Yeah,
you've got to understand that. You know what they're like.
I'm surprised it hasn't happened any earlier, but it's like, it's one of the biggest conspiracy theories.
It's interesting actually, because it goes back to what we were talking about with the lad who came on who did the documentary. The slow fast walkers.
Oh yes.
And it's like you get to a point where it's rather you kind of have to dismiss the previous stuff because they hold the purse strings. Okay. Whereas, like, if you start gaining your own sort of insights into these sorts of things and doing your own research, then you kind of control it if you've got the data, sort of thing. But again, I think we said they can still turn around and say we'll be taking that, and there's nothing you can do about it if you come up with anything. So I think in this one, it is definitely the case of that they've give us everything they've got that's not sensitive, and anything else just gives the game away, and incriminates them. So interesting story though.
I'm hoping when President Trump or JFK Jr. gets in.
JFK Jr. is going to want to know what happened.
Yeah, he actually, he did.
What happened to my dad?
Yeah, so I don't know if it can be overturned, but I should imagine there's some kind of power that.
Is JFK Jr. On what side?
Democrat. Democrat, and they reckon that the best contest for presidency next year will be him and Trump. And either one that gets in will be.
How's Trump still eligible to run?
Because he hasn't been criminally.
I know, but I mean, in terms of every other, he's every single kind of thing that a president shouldn't have to go through. Like in terms of being indicted and being taken to court. Yeah. No other president in history has gone through it's not the shit it's the shit he's done to himself. But he seems to worm his way out of it every single time. I don't know.
It's only because he hasn't got the cronies within the government to actually
he's got cronies in the lawyer world, though, hasn't he?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, no, he's not clean, but he's.
Well, we want to.
None of the others are.
I think a leader of the free world should be clean.
Yeah,
that's just my opinion.
I totally agree. Yeah. But I don't think you'll ever get a clean.
I love that though. It's like even Bill Clinton had some saucy tapes in his drawer. Rich
men don't get rich by playing by the.
Oh well, we talked about that earlier, didn't we? Yeah. It's all about using what was it?
Using what you got, and if you can get over the next man.
I don't know if that's what I meant, but anyway. Well, have you got another story? It's blowing smoke up Trump's bum.
There's been a bit of controversy with China and Japan, and it's mainly because of you remember a number of years ago when one of their power stations went up, nuclear power stations went up.
Yeah.
The water as well. There's actually a cleaning crew in Japan trying to clean the water so they can, release and bring in new water to, clean, to basically get the radiation. Now, a couple of years ago, I already spotted a report where it was showing that the radiation's already out. There's already it's already spread all around the world. But what China's saying is they need to stop it and they need to clean it up. But Japan is saying they are cleaning it up, or else they're letting it out. So there's a massive argument over it.
This is what I was saying the other week, because I don't know if you heard about this. I didn't really see much of it in the mainstream media, but it was apparently the Russians had placed basically a device on top of a couple of the nuclear power stations. On a couple of the towers. Right, so there was exactly, explosives, and they were saying they've put them up there, so we've had to shut 2 of the towers down. And I was like, that's naughty. Yeah, right. Because obviously that's but it's kind of what they want, isn't it? That sort of no man's land between the Iron Curtain. Yeah. So if they make it uninhabitable, it doesn't really matter. because that's what they want. Yeah, they want this barrier between us and them. So
in a way, yeah.
So but again, it's like you've just said, these things travel on the air, right? So I mean, I've seen it when there's been a big wind in the Sahara, and you walk out, and all the cars have got this orange sand on it, and that's just travelled in the wind. So you've got to think, well, that's just naughty. That is naughty. So
when the first one went up there, we got. A part of that. We got.
Well, I've not heard. I mean, I hope it's not actually. I think if they've solved that problem anyway, because I've not heard anything about it in the news, and this happened a couple of days ago. Yeah. So we'll keep an eye on that. I mean, obviously, there's always some sort of hoo-ha and that going on in the Ukraine at the moment, but.
Well, talking about Putin, Putin's got an international arrest warrant, and he stopped from going.
Well, we knew that, but they're never going to go and nick him, are they? They're not going to go. Well, Mr. Putin, you're coming with us.
But he stopped himself from going to a ceremony the other week because he obviously can't leave his country. But
yeah, because obviously international stuff. Because if he leaves Russia, then he will get arrested. Yeah.
But he's looking like he's going to go to Turkey, which is a part of the NATO.
Oh, I'm nicking there.
Which. I'm wondering if they're going to try and nick him there. Hopefully they
but we're giving the game away now. We're just giving them the top secret plans.
Well, they're giving the game away, turning around going, right, Putin's going
putting it on the internet.
You know what I mean? That's it. All right, then, well, we're getting a team ready and we're taking you, buddy.
Well,
you know
obviously, that's definitely going to happen if he does go. But, I mean, he'd probably send his decoy. Oh, yeah, I mean, they might... Well, yeah, of course. If Turkey's got anything about him, they'll go, yeah, Putin, come over. Yeah, we'll look after you.
I reckon they're going to
try and trap him?
Yeah, but then they're going to be on the front line then of a war with Russia. Russia are going to go like, well, hold on, you've just taken our leader. What the fuck's going on here, mate? Right? I'm going to.
Nah, I think a lot of people in the Kremlin will be like, nice one. We'll take over from here.
Yeah, I agree there. But, well, he's got the power. You know, you don't know who the next man who's going to sit down on that ledge and, do.
Yeah, so true.
We need to watch that. I mean, look, the Ukraine started with the Americans fucking about with bringing people in and,
well, let's not go too much into that, because I've got a nice little story here.
Oh, go for it.
About a returned object. A returned overdue library book.
Oh, right. Okay.
Oh, bless them.
What, 2 years?
Nah, a bit longer
15?
than that. Bit longer than that.
30?
Bit longer than that.
Okay, now, what, 60?
A bit longer than that. 119 years.
Jeez.
It'd take, obviously...
Something like that book.
You could write 20 books in that time, I think more. The discovery occurred when Stephen Pline, the creator of Rare Books, in West Virginia University Libraries, was sorting through recent documents and books, found that they had an overdue library book, I think.
I wonder how much the charge was.
What was it? This came back extremely good condition, apparently.
Oh, man.
But somebody obviously kept it in a nice bookcase, and obviously because it was in such good shape,
mine.
It probably got passed down through family and stuff like that. But the book was first published in 1881, 2 years after I think the owner's death, or the person Maxwell, who actually drew it out. Yeah. So they've tracked it down anyway, and they've returned it back to the library.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, 119 years.
I wonder what a bill like that would be.
I think the longest library book ever was Lister from Red Dwarf, wasn't he? When he was that, he goes, a million years. I've still got that library book. Anyway, yeah, I thought that was a nice story.
Yeah, that's a good story.
Another little nice story. Snoop Dogg's opening a restaurant in Inglewood.
Ah, see.
That'd be a chilled establishment.
But will he be allowed in the country?
Why?
Because he was refused last time, wasn't he? Because he's had criminal conviction.
Oh, really? He's not allowed in the States? Does he live over here now?
No, I mean over here.
Oh, right.
Over here, yeah, he's been refused over here before.
No, it's not over here. It's in Inglewood in the United States.
Right.
Inglewood.
I thought you meant somewhere over
South
here.
Central, Inglewood.
Oh, right.
Do you know what I mean?
It's
like his hometown. It's his hometown.
It's getting everywhere.
He's going to go on Just Eat.
Oh, you reckon?
Yeah, too right. If you're opening a restaurant and he's doing the Just Eat, he's just going to have that advert playing in the background, innit?
Yeah, it'll be on Bake Off next.
Talking about restaurants, right?
Yeah.
If you're getting married...
Oh, yeah. No.
You're looking for a wedding venue, and you're on a budget.
Yeah.
McDonald's.
Fuck off.
McDonald's. McDonald's have got a wedding package.
Oh my.
A new wedding package.
days.
A new wedding package promotion by McDonald's has sparked a series of jokes and memes. You've probably seen them. The fast food restaurant has offered to provide 100 chicken burgers, 100 4-piece nuggets, and as well as other deals. The packages are available only in certain locations.
Right, so you can't get it everywhere.
No.
So I have to go like, I don't know, Canada to get me burger.
With the tagline, "Let's make your wedding more memorable."
Yeah,
It reminds me of those little parties you used to have. Is the Grimace going to come out? And like Ronald, is Ronald going to be
McDonald.
fucking doing your service?
Yeah.
Like, do you have a burger? Do you take this bun to be your relish?
You know
with
what?
a load of burger themed metaphors and stuff.
I do reckon some people will do that.
Well, if you want to do it, yeah.
Don't. But if you want to do it,
yeah, you can do it for roughly $232.
Oh.
Yeah, which gets you again 100 chicken burgers and 100 package of nuggets.
They'll get me napkins. They'll get
loads of stuff.
What about my fries?
Yeah, I want all that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
refills.
pick.
If it's my wedding, you want free refills. You can't be like, right, you've got to nurse that one because I'm not paying for another.
You won't be able to walk up to the counter and go, right, I want that, and that. Thank you. What? No price, thank you.
Yeah, I don't think so. Not for me.
Price.
Indonesia, it is.
Oh, right.
Yeah, McDonald's Indonesia, they tweeted it out basically saying you can have a Big Mac chicken Mac wedding.
Either McDonald's is big over there or weddings are.
Definitely. Well, I mean cheap weddings.
Yeah.
McDonald's might be the one over there, you never know.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah.
Anyway, have you got some more news for me?
I have. We remember that Major Tom who for charity.
Oh, the guy who walked round his garden during the pandemic.
Yeah, he only wanted to make
ground control to Major Tom.
I think it was 130 million.
He smashed
like
it.
that.
The guy.
He
was knighted, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Sir Major Tom.
He was.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, the guy was an absolute legend, and I believe that obviously since his passing, the Major Tom Foundation has been kind of doing loads of charitable works, haven't they?
No, because they've actually stopped.
They've been spending
they've been paused.
What I believe has happened, right? Is there's been an investigation into them because I do believe they do some charitable works, right? Yeah, with the money because they raised a lot of money for Captain Tom. Yeah. And a lot of money still comes through the foundation, they're handling it as the family estate. So they applied to the council to have a building put up in the back garden, right? The Major Tom building. Yeah. So this is where everyone's going to kind of congregate to do Major Tom stuff. For the foundation, it's going to be an office.
So we're going to have a table and chairs and stuff
like that. A boardroom,
like
couple of laptop spaces where we can sit down, do our work, nice and kind of like a little visitor centre where you can kind of, welcome people. Maybe a little
bit bigger now. It's getting a bit more expensive.
Well, no, but you'd want a little glass cabinet with your Major Tom shrine, with all your bits and pieces, your medals and all that.
Gold?
No, just gold. His old stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? The guy passed away, didn't he? So you'd have all that stuff in a little glass case.
Yeah.
It'd be a memorial to Major Tom and what he accomplished, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So no,
Well,
they applied for it and the council said right. But eventually, an addendum went on to the planning permission to have a sauna room attached. Yeah.
So they can all have naked meetings instead.
Maybe this was the idea. They were like, people might want a whirlpool bath or a jacuzzi, while they're waiting to see the Major Tom shrine.
He's
have a Battenberg and a coffee while you're in the whirlpool bath.
Feel like it.
Do you know what I mean?
I was going to say.
So obviously, when this has come over the desk of the council, they've gone, "Are you taking the piss? Yeah. What do you need a solarium? In your Major Tom building?" So they've rejected it. So Are you trying to tell me now that since this, because I know that this is why they were denied, and this is why they've been in the news recently, but the daughter has been basically using funds that were meant for good causes and charitable donations.
The contract is that the family don't have any of the money.
Yeah, that's right. Then they shouldn't really.
They broke the contract by
using it to kind of put something in, add value to the property.
Yeah, so she's been investigating some of the family and whoever the partners in on it, and all funds that are supposed to be going there are supposed to be stopped for now. But,
right, okay.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll get all cleaned up and
it's a shame though, because I mean, like I say,
yeah.
Captain Tom was an absolute legend, and it's a shame that people take advantage.
There's a lot of there's a lot of
sharky people
that are actually not doing so well, but I believe that's because they basically put charities as businesses, and they're more like businesses now than they are charities.
Oh yeah, they've been like that for years, haven't they?
So
really,
it's a case of you're choking on your own chips there. You know what I mean? You forced.
I like that.
You forced it. Now it's
I could do with some chips.
Yeah.
Chips sound good right now. Don't choke on them. Yeah. Well, something else you don't want to choke on.
Yeah.
The big penis wars. Yeah.
You what?
This is a thing. Yeah. So there's a guy who's basically come up with. He's an inventor, and he's come up with the world's first cosmetic penis implant. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So he says a group of Houston doctors are trying to steal his idea.
Dirty. Who did he think they are?
This
Chinese?
is a multi-million-dollar feud. Yeah. Right. Between these two firms. Right.
Okay.
Well, between this inventor and these guys.
Between the cock and the
these
balls.
guys in Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
Hey. So basically, there's a war on. It's the big penis wars, and this is what they're talking about. It's an implant that is kind of like.
This is what they've been talking about. This is the first time I fucking heard it.
No, this is what we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. So the 43-year-old, basically inventor, has come out and said that these guys are trying to steal his idea. It's like an oxygen tube. Out of his mouth that wires he's basically like a patient and he's come up with this idea.
Yeah.
So I think that's how it is anyway. But
well, they're trying to nick the patent.
They're trying to nick the idea off him. Yeah.
That's big corporations for you.
That's it. You can't have anything, can you?
You can't.
Well, there you go. There you go. There's that story. So have you got anything else?
Down. If you're looking for a job in a supermarket or a shop, or retail, don't bother in Colorado.
I knew you were going to say don't bother.
Don't bother in Colorado, because a employee from a big known shopping area, 3 guys had walked into the store, grabbed a load of shit, same stuff, and put it in the back of their car and drove off. And he was filming it.
Right, okay.
So, he was sacked the day after. And he wasn't the first one or the only one that's been sacked for trying to stop criminals. There was, there was five employees.
Yeah, because they say
sat on top of someone who was nicking.
But company policy is don't be a hero. Yeah, right. I think
he was just filming it. He was they are right. This is what they're doing. This is what they look like. Right. Bring the police, bang.
Well, maybe they're it's the employers that are like doing insurance shit.
Well, it's to do with laws. Apparently, there's 2 different laws there that one.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Company policy and the law is, you don't get involved if a burglar comes in or if a shoplifter comes in. Unless you've got people like loss prevention or somebody who's there to do that, that's their job. They sign whatever. But if you're just like basically, because company policy is if you come in and try and rob me, then I'm just to hand the money over. I'm not to be a hero because my life's more important. Yeah, so just give them the money. They're insured. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? That's the thing. You putting yourself in risk to try and stop someone over a matter of like $30-40 that you've got in your till is it's putting the company in a worse situation, because when you then sue the company for being shot or worse, then they've got to pay out more. So it's easier for them to say, just don't be a hero, let them take the money.
So basically the company's going, right, all the stuff and stock that gets nicked.
Yeah, it's worth it for your life.
All the other people who go to that shop and buy stuff, you got to put in more money.
No, the problem is, it's not about that. It's about your safety, right? Yeah. So as an employee, they've got to follow they've got to follow laws, right? So your first law is your health and safety in the workplace, right? So if you work in a place that gets held up, on a weekly basis, that's going to kind of fuck with your mental health, it's going to fuck with your nerves, all the rest of it, right? So would you, or if somebody came in and did hold you up at gunpoint, would you try and wrestle them to the ground, potentially get injured?
The opportunity,
Well, no, because that's not company policy. Yeah, company policy would be to say, just give them the money and let them leave, and then report it to the police, because if you do get injured in that struggle, then the company then has to say, well, that's on you, and we can't do anything about it, and probably sack you.
Yeah, but my policy is, if you're grabbing me around the neck with a fucking pistol or a knife or an object, and I could get out of that situation,
no, but
I'm going to do
most of the time, they're going to come in, just say, put the money, give us the money, you hand it over, and they leave. Do you know what I mean? It's like only when you start causing them a problem, they're going to give you shit back, or give you cause to shoot, or whatever. And I think this is the problem when people do. I mean, I'm not saying if the opportunity's not there, then maybe take an opportunity. And I've seen them on YouTube where I think, fucking what a hero. But if that goes wrong, then the company who employ you are then rather liable or not. Depending on your actions. So the safer bet is to just go, listen, they're insured. It's not my money. Take it. And your company wouldn't sack you for letting them take the money. They'd actually be like, well, you've lived to fucking serve another day behind the counter, bro. So, do you know what I mean? In that case, I do think that the right, because, and depending on the circumstances.
All circumstances are different.
So if some guy's kind of just filming the situation, that's different to actually jumping on the guy and trying to stop him.
He got sacked for that.
Well, I mean, that's different, isn't it? I mean, guys at home, let us know what you think. If you think it's right to be dismissed from your job for trying to protect the interests of the company.
And yourself.
And
customers that are around.
It's not I don't think throwing yourself in the line of danger is protecting yourself. You could maybe exacerbate the situation.
That is true.
Right, and put customers in danger.
True.
Everybody isn't John McClane. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of people who are out of shape and just think they've got the ego. I play Xbox. I'm fucking well good, me. Try and just get out of it. Just avoid it. Do you know what I mean? Well, that's my opinion anyway. And if you can do it and you're confident, then crack on. But I mean, everyday people, just fucking leave it to the professionals.
Well,
there you go. That's my take on it anyway. I had another story here.
Well, here's one. Scientists have found a meteorite fragment. Well, took meteorite fragments from the bottom of the ocean, where a meteorite, I think it was 3.8 billion years ago, hit the Earth. And there's a possibility, of it being a part of an alien craft, they're saying.
Okay.
So there's a possibility that there might be evidence there now. But then, yet again, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, false information, the amount of false information that's going to be coming out soon, if the false invasion is supposed to happen by aliens, then there's going to be shitloads of false information coming forward.
It's like, this is the thing now, aliens are going to land and we're all going to go, fuck off, it's a man in a suit.
Exactly, go
I don't believe you. Well, anyway, I think that, again, you never know with that sort of stuff if it is going to be false information or legit. Time will tell. I found this story. This is before we get into Manassa news. A Mexican mayor has wed a reptile. He's basically married a crocodile.
You what?
He couldn't be happier. He loves it.
A bit snappy, is he?
She can be. To onlookers, some people might think it's a bit weird, but Victor Hugo Sosa, the mayor of San Pedro, he's basically married a crocodile.
Lost his fucking nose.
Yeah, the reptile is it's not a crocodile, it's an alligator.
Oh.
Oh,
now you're talking a different species. Okay.
Why is that different?
Yeah.
Why are they more marriage material?
Nah, they're just off a slightly different line.
Well, he says he accepts her because we love each other. That's the most important thing.
How can he prove that that animal loves him?
Well, he says they love each other, and he can't have marriage without love. So he married it, and he treats it like a princess. He says it's his princess girl.
He'll probably turn around and find out actually it's been a boy all along.
Yeah, it's a caiman. Yeah. So
they're the worst.
Yeah, so he's married. A marriage between a man and a female caiman has happened here for 230 years apparently.
What?
So I think it must be like a traditional thing, but he's happy as Larry.
Funny enough, I was actually watching the other week about a tribe that crocodiles come there all the time, and they
marry him?
Well, no, they treat them like pets and.
Oh right, okay, yeah, but that's
really
different.
Well, and the crocodiles actually don't attack.
Yeah, but that's a bit different, isn't it? To marrying it. Yeah, marrying it.
Yeah,
I'd say so.
That bedroom's got to be a bit bloody.
Yeah, definitely.
Just a little bit. It just baffles me, that kind of shit.
Well, that's it. We've got some UFO news in NASA news and stuff.
Yeah.
UFOs seem to be all about over at the moment.
Yeah.
Even Capitol Hill. Yeah. So, but anyway, this is there's been loads in the United States and Washington and stuff like that. But apparently there's been quite a few over in Italy as well. So an Italian UFOs have been seen as early as 1933. Yeah. There was quite a lot happening in 1996, and a lot of kind of UFO stuff does happen in Italy.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of
documents have started to come out about telegrams in Italian, which gave warnings about UFOs and other missions, to try and investigate them.
Yeah, because actually MUFON a couple of years ago went over there, and the Italian Air Force have started to open up.
Well, this is it. In 1933, a bell-like craft apparently was seen in northern Italy. That's what I thought as well. Most people in San Marco said they've seen stuff. There's a very high clearance and basically a high position, and basically say this is kind of like a high-ranking military officer has said that he's seen stuff as well.
Yeah.
So it's nice that they're coming out and starting to come out with a bit of disclosure about stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm just like I said, I'm just hoping not a lot of this is kind of psyops thing, for the so-called supposed to be the last invasion shit.
Well,
just got to be careful.
They're everywhere. This is the thing. UFOs are more popular than ever. I mean, there's another thing here about UFOs. Oh wait, hang on.
We need to go up to the hills near me, and because you can see directly over Manchester.
Well, there's to the one that happened in Ireland. This is the Irish unresolved UFO mystery that has taken an unexpected turn.
Oh right, okay.
So witnesses are wanting to know what's going on.
Good.
This is a 26-year-old friend. It's 26-year-old. 26 years since two friends witnessed a bush-sized object in the sky. Yeah, so this was in Ireland. We'll have to cover this actually if this is a good twist, because it's a good story. Now the pair, who were among a select few public and Irish UFO sightings, people have seen it in the UFO in Ireland. They want answers, so they're trying to kind of band together to try and get some more They basically said they felt the fear sweep across the bodies as they claim to have watched UFOs travel towards them in Lockheed and hover over the water.
See, that's it. You know what I mean? Once you see one of these things, and especially if you see it close up, it's going to change your life.
Well, they're going to try and get some information. Apparently, some more information might have come up anyway.
Yeah.
So we've got a bit more UFO stuff actually.
Oh, nice. See, that's how much UFOs are on.
There is loads at the moment.
It's a really hot topic.
Well, we've talked about There's a Republican lawmaker. The lawmaker. This was last week, actually, wasn't it? We were talking about. He's still making waves.
Yes.
Greesh, but this is a Republican lawmaker, Tennessee Republican lawmaker Tim Burch. Birch? Claims that the U.S. government have been withholding evidence of UFOs.
Good one.
He says that the Washington Examiner that the government have been holding back stuff since Roswell in '47 and maybe prior to that. Yeah. He added that there was a concern that we have something, an obligation to kind of get this out.
Exactly.
But they've obviously said that they need to kind of keep the airspace in control, because if there's stuff flying around, then they need to know about it, basically. His remarks have followed claims by David Greesh, who we covered last episode, but basically now again more and more high-ranking people are coming forward saying, yeah, we know that they've got evidence, but we can't say how we know, but we know.
I've got to say, but in the past we have had high-ranking people come forward, but a lot of them didn't actually specify the names, and the reason why is because whistleblowers, they always get shot. So. Well,
this is it. Didn't you say there was a change in the law with whistleblowers?
Yes, and that's why they did. Dr. Greer did his little Washington show at the press club to actually bring and tell people, look, here's the people who are in them positions, here's the evidence, here's why they've done it, here's why they don't want you to know, and here's why they're hiding the technology that could actually advance us and make the planet a safer and more welcoming place.
Yeah, well, a little bit more information on that Italian one I've just found. The Italian UFOs, that we were talking about earlier. Yeah. So a researcher has claimed that he actually has proof that backs up the alleged crash of a UFO in 1933, maybe the Bell one. So potentially, so there's photo evidence. Yeah. So there is actually a photo. I'll post that on the Instagram.
Well,
whether you believe it or not, or whether it's conclusive, you never know. But there is some evidence to suggest there was something seen.
Well, I've just found out about. Do you know the Battle of New York? Mm-hmm. That one where there's a famous picture where there's big lights on one spot and they're shooting.
War of the Worlds.
Well, it sort of looks like a War of the Worlds kind of thing. But I've just seen a program about the actual negative. Now, it's turned out that actually that negative is a negative of another negative.
Oh, right. You see,
and they didn't know about that until this guy had a look and he noticed the click numbers at the side.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say, that if you were, because if it has kind of these markers, then you should be able to kind of notice if it's been flipped or not, or if you've got overlaps of markers.
Use the same kind of
so I'm really surprised that they didn't get onto that sooner, to be fair.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well,
I mean, if I had access to those negatives, I would have clocked that day one. I would have been like, "Have you noticed this?"
I noticed something different when you first brought it.
So I'm not surprised, and this goes to say how far they don't kind of this stuff's kind of unexplored, in the sense that not being given the access to kind of run your own tests on it, and say, oh, actually, this is. because you can never tell from a copy, so you'd need the original negatives to prove that point, and if you can't get access to the original negatives, then what's the point? Do you know what I mean? It's exactly the case. Well, there you go. I think that covers everything for this week. Have I missed anything?
Well, if you're in the UK...
Oh, go for it.
Northern Lights you might be able to see on this Tuesday.
This Tuesday, I'm on that. Whereabouts?
Down all the north, we should be able to see it.
That's one thing I've always wanted to see in person, and if I can get to see it in my own backyard, then that's fucking a mega, isn't it?
That's even better.
Like I say, tropical rainy season here in the UK at the moment.
It is. But now they've found something on the sun, meteorite like.
A man. There was some guy up there
shooting
fucking
stars, boiling. Discovered in the sun's atmosphere.
Ooh, do you think that was just like spitting stuff's getting spat out by the sun?
Well, it's balls of plasma.
Yeah, that's getting stuff out. It's getting spat out by the sun, isn't it?
But it's like it seems to be something like rain, kind of like rain, but on the.
Yeah, but if you think about we don't know what kind of is going on the sun, right? So if you've got all these kind of like fissures and kind of like explosions and stuff like that,
which you would,
miles and miles and miles and miles high, right? Think about a volcano when it spits out, it's almost kind of like raining down, isn't it? So if you've got kind of really vicious activity on the sun that's like literally forcing these plasma out, like spraying it out. Do you know, when it explodes on the surface, you'll get a spray out. So that could be that. But I mean, who do I know? I'm no scientist.
Well,
I'm just a logical person who thinks about things way too much.
If these come out at the same time towards the Earth, then big possibility.
the sun starts firing rockets at us. We're under attack. Who by it? The sun.
Hey.
Global warming.
Yeah.
We didn't do that. That's not our fault.
No, because the universe is doing
That's what I'm saying.
Thing,
Things just happen in the universe. It's crazy.
Surprisingly enough, we're actually coming out of it. We're in the quiet period of our planet's life.
That's what I was saying. We're very naive to think that, you know, this quiet period was going to be like tomorrow. Indefinite.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so I mean, not that I don't believe that global warming is a thing, but whether we've got that much of had that much of an impact in terms of the overall bigger picture.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's a combination of the two, but yeah.
Because I was looking at reservoirs.
What, Reservoir Dogs?
No,
good film that.
You know, there's that many of them that they actually do the tilt. They actually help on the tilt.
Okay.
They actually moved. And then I was watching something about.
That's what I thought. Pyramids were like weights, counterweights to stick us on a tilt.
Yeah, exactly. They're not supposed to have heavy shit there.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking that about like graveyards today, actually, and it just in a weird way. Yeah, I was thinking like, how long before like that many people have died that, you know, in the course of the history of the earth, that the majority of the earth is covered by a graveyard.
Yeah, that's
because I mean, what happens? Did it get to a point where they go, right, we're going to have to clear these graves out make room for some new ones?
Well, I would have thought plants would be growing.
I thought they're there forever. I keep seeing ones that have been there like 100 and odd years. So I think, well, you know, how many grave plots are there? Before the majority of the planet's just a big fucking cemetery.
Well, yeah. Well, the way we're fucking populating it,
crazy.
I don't think of it. But
some deep shit.
You've got the sea then. The sea will wash it away. The fish will eat it.
Well, this is probably why they went, we're going to have to start burning them. Cremation, anyone? Cremation, anyone? Anyway.
Well, we had that problem in the Victorian era, if you think about it.
True that, actually,
you know
I told you a Roman burial for me. Just, not Roman, Viking burial. Send me out to see flaming arrows. I'll be good. That'll be nice.
I won't be buried.
Right, well.
Tradition.
Let's not get into our funeral plans just yet.
No.
Anyway, that's the end of the show, guys. Right, so we'll be back next week with an exciting new episode.
Of course.
And if you've got any comments, queries, or suggestions about what we've covered in tonight's show, you can almost send us an email. Almost certainly send us an email. Definitely even. By going to the website at neverastraightanswer.co.uk. You can email us at neverstraightanswer@gmail.com, or go to any of the social media sites. We're available on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and wherever you get a podcast. We're available on iTunes, Spotify, and many, many more. That'll be it for this show. We'll catch you next week. We hope you've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's been exciting. I've loved this one. I love the story.
Yeah.
I'll post some of the pictures as well the kids drew over on the Instagram.
All right. Yeah.
And plus other stuff. I'm sure you'll find it. Yeah. Right. Well, I've been Gaz.
I've been Taylor.
We've been the Never a Straight Answer podcast. We'll see you next week. Peace
out.